Hi, this is Sherry, and I'm pretty much doing my YouTube debut here. Um, but I feel it's important to get this message out. And I have been doing the Ukraine Plague blogspot.com, and I'll put the information in the on the side here. Um, I'm doing it because the silence from mainstream media is deafening regarding what's going on. We're talking about probably one of the biggest stories of the century, and there's silence to it. In 1 week's time, 1 million people have gotten sick. They say 155 have died, but even this morning, the press releases from the health minister of the Ukraine, which I've added onto the blogspot, says that he doesn't believe the numbers are accurate. But besides that, the police confiscated the medical records from the hospitals. And this is from the government of the Ukraine, the health minister saying this. This is not some conspiracy where someone else has claimed this. This is the minister of the Ukraine has said this. He's also said, if you read the temperature of the lungs and the bleeding from the coughing, first he'll say dry cough and then blood in the cough. And then he also says the trend is like the total breakdown of the lungs. He's not even saying swine flu anymore. He's not even saying mutated swine flu. Okay, it seems like he's almost getting to that point of what all the doctors in the Ukraine have said, is that it is the pneumonic plague. Now, they said this, and since basically if you look from the 4th, basically on the blog, it's almost no news coming out. No real news. There's news about governments, other governments and countries helping the Ukraine and coming to the aid of the Ukraine, but there's no news about what's really happening. I read a little bit here and there of people from the Ukraine saying they've seen dead bodies. I haven't put that in there because that's not absolute confirmation. I don't have the confirmation. Just like I've been reading about some things going on in some other countries, a lot of deaths that's in the surrounding area. Until there's some kind of confirmation, I'm not putting that on the site either. I'm trying to keep this very clean in the way of the news. I'm not putting the conspiracies in there, even though quite a few people would call me a conspiracy theorist. There's a lot of things I think going on, but I'm not putting that in there because since mainstream media is not reporting on it, I'm trying to do absolute reporting. Just like some might say there's a conspiracy parts that are in there in the way of the spraying. The day before everybody started, this whole sickness started taking over the Ukraine, they were spraying from low-flying planes. Now that's actually not a conspiracy because that is proven. People, it's documented, all the phone calls to the radio stations, to the TV stations, to the newspapers about people seeing these low-flying planes spraying something in the air. And even the government had to come out and say they did not authorize any spraying. So even the government acknowledges the phone calls about all the spraying that were made. So that's actually not a conspiracy. That's real. So is it bioterrorism that has happened? And if it is, who is it? Who did this? It seems like there's so much more going on. And as I said, mainstream media is not touching it. But not just mainstream media. Why isn't the Drudge Report, the Raw Story, Huffington Post, Truth Out, why aren't those other online media outlets that are also reporters, journalists, that try to supposedly get the truth out about what's going on. Why aren't they reporting it? Why aren't they saying anything about it? So I'm asking people to start inundating all those online. If mainstream media is not going to touch this, let's see if we can get other online news organizations to start writing about it, to start investigating it. I mean, if I could, I would go to Ukraine. I would start talking to people. I would start trying to find out all the information I can from the doctors. I read somewhere, again, this is a conspiracy thing that I did not put in there, is that the doctors basically have been shut down. They had released this information. In the beginning, you will see of confirmation upon autopsies that they were bleeding in the lungs, the temperatures, which though the government health minister did confirm today on a press release of 40 degrees Celsius of the lungs, which is super high, that there's been the bleeding, the 40 degrees Celsius, the blood in the lungs, and the doctors have said, and black lungs, that absolutely this is the pneumonic plague going on. Also, I have to say this, WHO, which you'll find on the blog, they released, what, October 30th, that the swine flu vaccines have had no side effects and they are completely safe. Okay, that is so outrageous. That is such a lie. Even a 5-year-old could get on the computer and within 1 minute find that there's been adverse side effects everywhere around the world. And I also put on the blog in the way of news organizations that had released that information before they stopped. One was Sweden, 190 people of adverse side effects, and then the media, which I updated on the blog, had talked about 5 deaths from the vaccine, and then they stopped. Canada, I love this one. They said, I believe it's CBC, it's all going off the top of my head right now, had said from the vaccine clinic, ambulances were taking people after getting the vaccine to the hospital. Ambulances were seen taking people to the hospital from the vaccine clinic. But then they say, oh, the vaccines are safe, and get your vaccine. And then the Irish Medical Board said that they knew of 32 adverse effects. So I now ask the WHO, how can you make the statement that there's been no adverse effects when it is proven from media outlets that there have been adverse effects? Of course, most media is not touching it and say, oh, get your swine flu. I want to go back on to the fact that the media is not saying anything about this. Haven't we heard from the media, oh my gosh, 20 people over there in this area got the swine flu. 2 people over there got the swine flu. Get your vaccine so you don't get the swine flu. I mean, we have been inundated with swine flu, and who has gotten it and the amount of people that have gotten it. Yet, 1 million people in 1 week are sick in the Ukraine, and it's spreading. And silence. So I'm asking everybody to start calling your local media outlets. Start emailing all the different media that's supposedly the alternative media online, from the Drudge Report, from all the various non-mainstream media outlets, and ask them to start covering this, start investigating it, start looking into it. We deserve the truth. The people of the Ukraine deserve the truth, but the people of the world deserve the truth, because if governments and who starts being honest about what's going on,